Hello, grade 8. Inshallah, today we are going to study lesson 4.2, which is determine the slope and y-intercept. You will find this lesson in your book, page 101. In this lesson, we have to determine the slope and the y-intercept. So we have to study how we are going to calculate it from a graph or from a table. Then let me show you the first type, which is how we will calculate the slope and the y-intercept from the graph. Look at the graph here. You will find the slope, this line, and we want to determine if this line is positive or negative. Already we said before that once the line is point to rise to the right, then it will be a positive slope. If it will be falls to the right, so it will be negative slope. When it will be parallel with x-axis, so the slope it will be 0. Parallel with y-axis, so the slope is undefined. Then in this case, we are going to use two methods as I told you. First, we can count rise over run. Then it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then it will be 12 over 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then rise, it will be 12. Run, it will be 6. Second, we are going to look at this line. It will pass through the point 0 and negative 6. Then it's intersect with y-axis at 0 and negative 6. So where is the y-intercept? The y-intercept, it will be the value of y. Then the value of y here, it will be equal negative 6. So this is how we are going to calculate the slope from the graph. We can use another method. We can look at any 2 points or pick up any 2 points from the line, like 0 and negative 6, 6 and 6. Then you will use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then 6 minus negative 6 over 6 minus 0. Negative times negative, it will be equal positive. Then 6 plus 6, it will be equal 12 over 6. And what is the y-intercept? The y-intercept here, it will be negative 6. Then in this case, how we will calculate the slope from and the y-intercept from the graph. Let me give you another example about this. First, look at the line. The line falls from the right, so for sure it will be negative. Second, we will use rise over run. So we said that the slope is negative, and then we will start to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means the slope it will be negative 4 over 6. Second, where we can see the y-intercept, so the y-intercept is 0 and 4. So look at the value of 4 of y, so the y-intercept here is 4. The same if you are going to pick up any two-order pair, and then you will use the slope, it will be y equal y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then it will be the same answer, negative 4 over 6. And where is the y-intercept? So the y-intercept is b equal 4. So this is the first type of our lesson today, how we calculate the slope and the y-intercept from the graph. Second, we want to know how we will calculate the slope and the y-intercept from a table. So as I said, we have two different ways to calculate the slope and the y-intercept. In second case, how we will calculate the slope from a table. Then once we have a table and we want to calculate the y-intercept and the slope from the table, then first we are going to calculate the slope between each 2 points. And we said the slope, it will be the y variation over the x variation, or a change of y over change of x. Then in front of you now we have a table, and in this table we have different order pair. We will pick up we will calculate, sorry, the difference between y, which means it will be 0 point. We will use the difference between the two first point, and then it will be 0.5 y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then it will be 0.5 over 5.5. Just a second. Then here in this one, it will be it will be 5.5 minus, sorry, 0.5 minus 5.5, and 3 minus 1. Then 3 minus 1, it will be equal to. So the answer, it will be negative 5 over 2. Then we will continue with the second point. So how we will calculate the second point? It will be negative 7 minus 0.5 over 6 minus 3. So the answer, it will be equal negative 7.5 over 3. Then it will be negative 6.5 over 3. So the answer, it will be equal negative 2.5. Third, we are going to continue to calculate the slope y variation over x variation for all. What do you notice here? We have a standard constant, or we have a constant value, which is every time we have m equal negative 2.5. So we can say that the slope for this table, it will be equal 2.5. Second, we want to calculate the y-intercept. What the meaning of y-intercept? Y-intercept means that when x equal 0, when x equal what? When x equal 0. Look at the table. We said once you have 1, then you have 5.5. What about if you are going to move one digits or one column to the left to make x equal 0? Each time you subtracted 0 point negative 2.5. Okay, so if you have 5.5 and you want to continue, let me show you how. If you want to move in this side, so each time you are going to subtract 2.5 to move from right to the left. What about if you want to move to this side? So you have to add 2.5, right? Then the y-intercept when x equals 0. So we will imagine that I'm going to add one digits here to make 0, and then I have to add 5.5 plus 2.5. So the answer, it will be equal 8. So the y-intercept in this question, it will be equal 8. Okay, so first we calculated together the slope equal negative 2.5. Second, we found that the y-intercept equal 8. And I said the y-intercept, we can calculate it once we have x equal 0. So in this question, it's 1, so you want to decrease it 1. So you have to take your decision here. 5.5, it becomes 0.5. And we said that the slope is negative 2.5 when we move to the left, to the right, I'm sorry. Then once you will move to the left, then you will reserve the sign. You have to add. Then I'm going to add 2.5 where to the first point. Then it's 5.5 plus 2.5, then the y-intercept equal 8. Then today, as I said, we studied how we can calculate the slope and the y-intercept in case we have a table or a graph. And let me show you something else. In case if you have a table, another table, we will imagine that we have another table. And in this table, we have the data. Always we said that at the beginning, we have X and Y. And the information in this table is 0 and 1, 2 and 7, and then 4 and 13, and so on. If I want to calculate the y-intercept in this question, how we are going to find the y-intercept in this question? So the y-intercept here, it will be directly equal 1. Why? Because he give us in the table, he give us the value of y is, the value of x is 0. And the y-intercept comes when the value of x equal 0. So in this table, we will not make any extra steps. We will use directly y-intercept equal 1. But in this type of question, we don't have x equals 0. So we will calculate the slope, and then we have to decide how we are going to find the y-intercept. So this is our lesson 2 for 2, determining slope and y-intercept.